Hi folks, welcome. My name's Chess. This is the Scapegoat Club. I'm a psychotherapist and I am estranged from my family. And in this video, it's a bit of a personal topic and I want to talk about why somebody like myself would choose to go no contact with their family rather than no contact. So low contact would mean keeping in touch occasionally, maybe sending a card on birthdays or chatting on holidays. Why would we choose that versus having absolutely no contact at all? It's a personal topic and I'm going to draw on my experience, but I'm also going to talk about people that I've worked with and what I see are common reasons why people choose this no contact route. I think at first glance, low contact really does seem like a manageable option. Occasional contact, even if it's with people we don't get on well with, it should be manageable for lots of us in adulthood, right? But the problem is it's not quite that simple, especially when we have very, very adverse, toxic, potentially abusive families. One of the primary reasons why I am no contact versus low contact with my family is that they don't want low contact. And really, they've made that clear to me over time. And this really does predate a lot of this YouTube stuff. I can imagine some of you thinking, well, of course your family don't want to speak to you because you're making all these videos on YouTube. Yeah, I get that. I can see that perspective. But really, this does predate it. So I want to talk you through something that happened a few years ago. I had not contacted my family for at least 18 months, and I'd given them the reasons why before things ended. I'd asked them for change, which they weren't able to accommodate. But my mum kept contacting me saying, oh, she was so desperately concerned about me. She really couldn't bear the thought of not hearing from me. She just wanted me to get in touch to let me know that I was okay. So I kind of took that to be a bit of more of a low contact kind of option. And I thought about it and it took a bit of time, but after about 18 months, I felt able to actually send a Christmas card wishing them well. It wasn't a lot, but for me it was actually a really big step because of all the difficulties and because of some of my mental health problems I've been having from dealing with them. It was a really tough thing for me to actually reach out and send that card, especially because I hadn't seen any change from their perspective. But I thought I would try. But what happened after that for me was just another example as to why the relationship really doesn't work. So I don't know about you, but if I was not in contact with someone I cared about, and I was really upset, as my mum said she was, if I'd heard from somebody, or as soon as I heard from that person, I feel like I would be very quick in terms of responding and just saying how good it was to hear from them and just emphasizing how much I wanted to have that relationship. But that's not how my mum reacted. In fairness, she did acknowledge receiving my Christmas card, but it wasn't until Easter. And I'm also going to throw out that we're not a religious family. And for me, these are kind of arbitrary dates. It felt like more of a duty or an obligation, or that this is what my mum felt she was supposed to do, or that good parents do as they reach out on these specific events, rather than wanting that real connection, genuine connection with me. And also when she did reach out, so this is 4 months later, what she said was, thank you for reaching out. Okay, fair enough, she did say that. But really, it wasn't enough. And she said that they needed more regular contact and they needed more information about me. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, I'm not a child here. I'm not in school. I felt like I was being dressed down for bad behavior and this is not the standard that we expect. And it just didn't feel like a way for an adult parent reaching out to an adult child saying, I really want to have a connection with you. I can see that something's gone wrong here, something serious, and I would really like to try and work through this. I didn't get any of that. And so really the message that I received was that low contact wasn't good enough. They needed more contact from me, and they'd actually said that to me before in a previous correspondence, that they expected to hear from me weekly Zoom calls, and that's how they expected me to check in with the family, and that was kind of like my duty. And from my perspective, that's not something that I'm willing to agree to again. And I'm also concerned just in general about this idea that a relationship from their perspective is about duty and obligation, and they get to call the shots on what this relationship should look like versus us having a mutual discussion as to what would feel right for both sides. So this is a good moment to hop in and just chat about the patterns that we do see in quite narcissistic families. There are no formal diagnoses in my family, but I do have a history of behaviors that are very narcissistic that really continue to show me that there are some difficult dynamics happening. And if we talk about a narcissistic family in general, in the textbook version, if I'm the scapegoat and they are the family, then I have a very specific role to play in that family unit where the scapegoat gives supply to the narcissistic people. If narcissists really can't control people in their lives, then they don't want to have a relationship with them. You're kind of in or you're out for a narcissist. You're either playing their game, doing what they need, supporting their vision for their life. In the family situation, it's the vision of what the family should look like. And so if a family member is not willing to adhere to those rules and to supporting that kind of image, and so in this kind of situation, low contact is probably not going to work because the narcissist or the narcissistic family members aren't going to allow that to happen. But there's also another reason why I'm not low contact with my family, and I do want to speak to this, and this is what I'm going to call like the lingering effects of living with a toxic family. And whilst I know my family would never agree, I see that the relationship as very controlling. There's a lot of rules, a lot of judgment, and it was emotionally very unbalanced and unsupportive. That leaves deep emotional scarring. And now that I've had distance from my family, I can really see a fundamental shift in my mental health, the way I think about the world, the way I interact with other people, and my relationship towards myself has really, really changed, and it's a lot better. There are a lot of old patterns that I took for granted as normal that I now see aren't normal, patterns that were rooted in a lot of fear and a lot of self-doubt, constant questioning of everything that I did. The thing is that when we're trying to heal and move on and move past some of these really difficult emotional and mental patterns of thinking, we need to do that for our well-being. But it's very hard to do that whilst we're in relationships or we're being pulled back into dynamics that don't want us to change, the people that aren't able to support and see us as we move and grow. And in family units, that's often the case, where we have these very rigid roles that we're expected to play out within the families, and there is no room to move past them and to change the way we interact, to change the kind of conversations that we have, to change the way that we relate to different people in our families. And so for me, I need to have made those changes and to continue living in this new way. And I just don't see how I can do that with my family. And they've echoed, you know what, Chess, we've seen you try and change the dynamic between us, and it's not happening. We are rigid in how we want to do the relationship. And so for me, it's a case of, well, if it's that black and white, then I have a choice. And it's not a choice that I wanted to make, but the choice sadly has to be that I can't continue to live in fear, live with mental health problems, live having a close relationship with people who can't see me for who I am, can't support me in what I need to do, and potentially could even use me for their own advantages. And I see so many people echoing this kind of sentiment. Estrangement and no contact is not about hurting other people, it's about preserving ourselves, giving us that emotional safe place and that time to really heal and move on with our lives. So friends, those are my reasons. I'd love to hear from you. If you are experiencing or looking at some kind of estrangement, have you tried low contact? Is it an option? Have you tried no contact? How did that go? And even if you're just curious, please let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, please be kind to yourself, be kind to other people around you, and I will talk to you soon on another Scapegoat Saturday. Take care, friends. Bye for now.